Good morning. Are we live and carrying on? All right. Welcome to July 1 Commission meeting. Good to see you all here. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Steve, would you lead us in the pledge? Mr. Leidy, and then we'll have a moment of prayer following that.
I don't have a paper copy.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's have a moment of silence, please. Thank you.
There's no holes, right?
Just to take this till next time.
Yeah, since I haven't had a chance to look at it.
I understand. You're good.
We don't get into it.
First item on our agenda is the minutes from June the 17th. Have you had a chance to look those over, and any questions or suggestions or a motion?
Brian Carr makes a motion that we accept the minutes from our June 17th meeting.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Oh, missed the claims.
Brian Collier makes a motion that we accept the claims as presented for $4,700,438.23.
Second.
Have a motion to approve the claims. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Mr. Collier. Next item is from our Highway Department. Looks like this is a highway day for a little while here. We have some paving bids. First.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So at the last meeting, we did open bids submitted for our 2024 local paving program. In review of those bids, we have found Milestone Contractors to be the lowest responsive and responsible bidder with their contract in the amount of $1,145,860.50. After reviewing the contract documents, everything looks to be in order, so I'm asking for your approval by signing the attached contract. I know they are looking to get ready to get going. We've actually got one road. If we get this approved this morning, that will be starting in the next week and a half on it. So.
Well, that'll be sweet. I've got one question about it. I noticed that in our, I assume it's NDOT made the, I guess you'd say, movement that all the bids have to be from one contractor? How'd that start?
Well, no, we can set that up however we want. We could award different roads to different contractors, but when a contractor gets a bulk project, we get better pricing on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's really beneficial, in my opinion, to group it together.
Okay, well, it was a little unusual. I used to have several contractors, but now it's just, so it does, it's more, save some money if we go with the one.
Yeah, I mean, when they mobilize to one road and they can go just jump to another one, you know, they don't have to pull off with a new contractor pulling on. So, I mean, we could group them, you know, independently, but I've found it's cleaner just to do it under one contract and you get better pricing.
Okay, thank you. So Milestone's our contractor with the low bid. Do we have any questions from the board? We have a motion.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we approve Milestone Contractor to do our paving bids for 2024 in the amount of $1,145,860.50.
Brian Collier seconds that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Okay. We also have a community crossing matching grant.
Yes, so this next item, every year the state puts out an application period for what's called the Community Crossings Matching Grant. This is a 50% match grant where they will match up dollar to dollar. Typically, it's up to $1 million for 2024. NDOT has increased their match to $1.5 million. So before you are 20 different financial commitment letters. 18 of these are for bridge preservation projects that will involve a waterproof membrane and an asphalt overlay. One project is for a bridge rehabilitation where the bridge will get a rigid overlay, new concrete approaches, and new approach pavement. And then the last letter is for HMA resurfacing for various roads throughout the county. The reason you have so many letters in front of you is NDOT requires a separate letter for each bridge project. So we had to break those out, and that's why the paving is all combined into one letter. So the work involved with this totals a $1.5 million match on our end, which we've requested for in our budget next year. All this work will take place in 2025. So just looking for your approval to start the application process on this.
Before I ask for the motion, I think it's, you're very busy out there, but one of the things that helps us a great deal is, of course, our bridge inspection. I expect that's been thick with what you've been doing.
It has, and a lot of these bridge projects are a result of what the findings of that inspection. So these preservation projects will let us extend the service life of these bridges so that, future maintenance costs are lower if we just let them go as is. So.
I think sometimes the public doesn't know how we proceed with a lot of stuff. We don't just get a phone call and say, let's go out and look at that bridge.
It's obvious if you listen to, with all due respect, I got a phone call with the person that was almost belligerent on their property taxes and at the same time wanted the road paved. I was just like I can't make this stuff up. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go on that, that's one of the things I think we're supposed to do is kind of keep people informed as to where their money's going and how it's being spent and how we're careful with it. There's assumptions out there all over the place that that doesn't occur, but it does.
Sure.
So what we have here in front of us is the Community Crossing financial commitment letters, and we need approval of those. I'll entertain a motion.
Brian Collier makes the motion that we accept the Community Crossing Matching Grant proposals and attempt to get them all approved and funded.
Yes.
We have a second.
You.
I'll second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Abstain.
2 ayes and 1 abstention. Okay. Justin, are you still on the agenda here? Let's see.
You got me for 2 more items.
Oh, my goodness. Making my packet go disappear here. I got to get it squared away here a second. Okay, next one I have for you is a road reclassification revision.
Yeah, so I've brought these up at the last couple of meetings, but these latest 2 letters are revisions proposed by the MPO. This deals with New Harmony Road. Basically, they wanted us to extend our reclassification further to the east. The old termination point was Perry Road. They want us to extend to Williams Road. When you look at the grand classification map, Williams Road is a minor collector, so it makes sense to tie it in to our proposed upgrade for New Harmony Road. So just looking for your concurrence and signatures on these letters as well.
So I need a motion to concur with the MPO request. Is that correct?
Yep.
Brian Collier makes that motion.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. And Allison Estates.
Yes, last but not least, so Allison Estates is a subdivision that we actually just dedicated a couple months ago after we took it into our roadway inventory. Since then, or let me back up. When we did that at the time, we had a maintenance bond or a performance bond on file for those guys to finish out the surface paving in the subdivision. They've now completed that. We have made our inspections and found it to be adequate. So now I'm asking for the release of the existing 2-year maintenance, or the existing performance bonds, and acceptance of these 2 new 2-year maintenance bonds to cover that work.
Any questions from the board? I'll entertain a motion.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we approve the performance bonds to be released and also to accept the 2-year maintenance bonds to be put in place for Allison.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. You've been busy. Trish Runningen there, is that from the Health Department? Health Department, go, yes. YMCA agreement, thank you. Oh, she is?
Yeah,
Where'd she hike? Yeah, she's a hiker.
out west, in the mountains,
Yeah, that sounds like Trish.
far, far from here.
Well, glad to have you visit with us today.
Thank you. I'm Michelle, Warren County Health Department.
Nice to meet you,
and
Michelle.
We have a MOU for the YMCA for a diabetes prevention program and a blood pressure safe monitoring program that we are using our first Health First Indiana funds for. So this was the first application that you were able to help us score on, which was fantastic. Set to start August the 5th. The requested amount, I'm hoping is correct on yours, it was $11,640.88. He changed the amount, which is less than what it was on there for.
11,640.
And that's a year-long program, it's for free for the community. The blood pressure program's for 4 months. They can do either or both. They actually had this program prior to COVID in 2020, and it had not started back
Okay.
for that.
Do we have any questions from the board on this request? Or memorandum of understanding with YMCA? I'll entertain a motion.
Brian Kyer makes a motion that we accept the memorandum of understanding between Morgan County Health Department and Barbara B. Jordan, YMCA, doing business as YMCA of Morgan County.
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 3-0, and nice to see I love the word collaboration, but glad to see you working, there's so much need.
Yeah, we're really excited about it.
I'm glad to,
Hope we get a lot more of these.
I hope so too, there's a lot of opportunities. Thank you. We did vote there, correct? I want to make sure I got that one right. I want to go back, I missed a grant application from the Sheriff's Department. Click it, I think. Sheriff?
I thought you said we're going to deny that.
That's what I heard him say.
You people don't wear a seatbelt.
Morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody? Happy 4th of July.
Happy July.
Thank you.
Fair time.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yep, buddy.
So what I come for you today, if you've all got your packets, there's a grant application form that we do every year for the 3 grants that we work every year, the Click It or Ticket, Driving Under the Influence, and the Project Safe. Each one have its different time periods and different areas that it focuses on. The Click It or Ticket, kind of self-explanatory, the seatbelt enforcement, high-speed visibility in the car seats. Driving Under the Influence, of course, self-explanatory there. And then the Project Safe is the one that we do in the fall for the school buses, where we follow those and make sure there's stop horn violations. So ask for your blessing on those. Any questions? I'll be glad to take those.
Well, it's effective, I'll tell you that. Well, I guess you stuck without a seatbelt on.
Ah, yeah,
It wasn't recent,
okay, all right.
but long enough I continued to. And it, by guys, saved me the other day when somebody pulled out in front of me, and only thing I had was a,
Little rash.
oh, no, it hurt like crazy for about 2 weeks. I know, there's all kinds of stuff in there that kind of gets swirled around.
Well,
But
you're probably one of those, maybe Kenny, me, that you guys remember the Imam stop seatbelt, you know, this one. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see we're,
My mom did that to my sister, and she just let me go. I don't know what the heck was there.
Explains a lot.
Yeah, it does. Kind of my life there.
Wow.
do we have a motion on the click it or ticket?
Kenny Howe makes a motion for the Morgan County Sheriff's Office on the Click It or Ticket grant in the amount of $115,000.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded for the click it ticket matching grant. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I don't think that was matching, was it?
No,
It's
no.
just straight.
Right, yep.
I looked at the other thing above it, so, sorry.
You're good.
Correct
Thank
me.
you.
All right, I've
Linda,
corrected.
do you need one, or you got one to sign?
You want to go ahead with the, you want to talk about the?
Sure,
The
yeah.
other one, too?
And
I
while
might as well-
Dave's coming up, when are you doing this so Don will know not to go on that street and get another seatbelt violation?
Well, I
He's
tell you
being a
exactly where it
scofflaw and
was.
driving around without a seatbelt on?
Yeah.
I think that young man's still in the department, but he was an eager beaver, and he wasn't Charlie's friend either. You have a request here, so the public knows what's going on, for a jail, a study of our current jail from the DLZ. Would you explain to the folks what's cooking?
Yeah, so, as many people know, our original facility was built in 1991, which doesn't really seem that long ago to me, but it is really pretty.
Not when you look at our courthouse.
I know. To look at our
But
building-
different clientele, I'll give you that.
It is definitely a
Yeah.
different clientele. So to look at our building, we've kept it in really good shape. So aesthetically, when you look at it, it looks still almost brand new in some areas. But the infrastructure, which we've been in front of you guys a couple times in council over the past couple of years now, where we're digging up floors and we're just, the sewer lines, water lines, and the outside of the building is all in concrete and not really accessible. And so we did do a study last year to kind of assess that situation, in which that study basically came back and said they couldn't access most of it, which probably means a lot of sewer lines are collapsed and we're just getting by. So that's led us to the study of seeing where we go from here. Do we remodel? Do we build? What do we do? And so, and honestly, on our budgets, I've been trying to be frugal with that, of trying to guesstimate what we're gonna have to do just to get by versus investing a lot of money front end on something that we don't really know what the outcome is gonna be. So this study will kind of look at our needs up to 2050. So it's gonna be looking at future needs as well as what our current needs are. And then how do we approach it? What's the cost of remodeling and maybe housing the inmates at another facility or facilities, the cost associated with that, or leave it alone, operate out of it, and maybe build a new facility or build onto the newer section somehow and keep everything operational while we do that. So that's really what the study is to do, give us a long-term plan as well. There's no dire emergency by any means, but I think it's responsible to go ahead and start looking at this and planning and figuring things out to see where we really are and not guessing about that. So,
David said there's no dire emergency, and there is none really right now, till tomorrow.
Correct.
When the sewer collapses underneath your kitchen and you're digging through 4 feet of concrete to get to it. And we've done that. So right now, we're operating as gold. Tomorrow, if one of these collapses in the concrete again, it's a pain.
And like I explained to Don too, he stopped by the other day we've ran into, you know, our in-house maintenance can handle a lot of our clogged drains and those type of things, but their equipment gets stuck in the line quite a bit, and when you're 100, 150 feet in the line, that gets stuck sometimes because of the condition of these pipes, or sometimes it causes a bigger problem that we've even had to have other companies come in to get our stuff unstuck and has got their equipment stuck, which has resulted in floors getting dug up 150 feet down the line to find out that the line's actually collapsed in that area. So it's just in pretty rough shape with the operations, and it's, I mean, we're putting out a lot of fires. Like the sheriff said, an emergency, if we dig up a floor, I will promise you that's at least $20,000 on a small dig, because they can't get equipment inside the building, so it's all manual labor of cutting concrete and digging. And some of the sewer lines are almost 10 feet under the ground in some areas that we've had to dig before, so.
Wow, that's why it's 20,000, huh? And that's probably, that's just touches on it. You know, with this study, one of the things I'm interested in personally, and I expect some of the other commissioners would be too, but that study will tell us, yes or no's and some of our options. But one of the things I think we're going to have to look at is what do we do? And in that regard, I would like to do some visitations. And one of the places I want to go, I know it's a long way, and I'm not picking it because it's a long way, but there's a jail up at, there's a county, Huntington County, that I'd like to visit. I know they're about half the size of our county. They're 36,000. And, but they did some work on that. As you know, as the people that you deal with frequently, continually, we have a mental health issue connected with our jails. And I think, unfortunately, maybe, the future is not going to change, and we're going to have to deal with the addiction issues. And I know you already are in-house, but they actually built a facility, kind of a, I won't call it a halfway house, but it was a facility that also addressed the addiction issues. And they took several of the, I guess you'd say, the applicants that would have, and you see them every day. I'd like to see how that works, that program and the structuring and how they fit it all together. But that'd be one of the jails I'd like to visit.
We could get you up there, not wearing your seatbelt, we could get you in there.
Yeah, a whole lot quicker.
No, I agree with you.
I got a car that just keeps dinging at me, so I finally give it up and just hook it up.
And a lot of the study is gonna address our actual, because I don't anticipate, and I've had some conversations, that our bed space, we have plenty of bed space. We're good on that. We're not doing this because our jail's overcrowded, where most jails in Indiana are remodeling or building because they have a lack of bed space. Now, I don't know that we have the right bed space for today's environment, like you're saying. So in the study, I don't think you're gonna see that we need a dramatic amount of bed space added, that's adequate, but the type and, like you said, some alternative ways of dealing with folks versus incarceration, which is the most expensive way of dealing with them, to do what Huntington County has done. So,
And we can segregate them.
yeah, exactly. And it gives an alternative to the police when they're arresting someone what to do with mental health folks versus just bringing them in. But I think there's gonna have to be some private partnership that comes along with that, and I believe that's what Huntington County done, was partnered with a private partner.
Having the unique opportunity to work with somebody that works in your maintenance every third day, I'm privy to probably all the issues that the public just doesn't understand. So I've been following this for over a year now, and I actually talked to Mr. Ratz that's on this contract, and I said, we have to think outside the box, a couple things, so that the public knows that, you know, we tried to do our best. We're just not building another facility. The old facility is built different than the work release facility. Can you upgrade the work release facility to house the more violent criminals, whatnot, and then move to a more of a mental health facility? These are things that I ran by Mr. Ratz. I noticed that the state, one of the things that they were promoting, that they were going to try to get some mental health hospitals in regions again, which they took away years ago. It's not working. They need to bring those back. So can we get help if we're building more of a mental health? Then we have the floodplain redrawing, and our first meeting this morning on the drainage boards had to deal with the levee, and what's that do? And if we have to build a facility, you're talking millions and millions of dollars again, no matter how you look at it. Do you build that in the floodway, floodplain, levee, no levee? Do you move? If you move, then you have two facilities, because you're, in theory, going to keep the work release because that's still viable. Now you spread out your manpower. So there's all kinds of variables that go into this that I've been looking at it for over a year, only because this came to my attention after, we have done a really good job of investing in ourselves. And we went as a county way too long without substantial increases to our buildings. And no one's going to argue that the cost of everything's gone through the roof, and all the experts say they're not going to come back down to where they were pre-COVID. Makes sense. Probably no one in this room would like to go out and take a job paying less than what they're making today. Would they like to have pay raises? Yes. Do they want to be paid more? Yes. So nobody's going to go back to pre-COVID salaries. So it compounds, so the longer you do wait, the more expensive it gets. I.e. the building right here behind us, I said, don't put a lot of time into it, but just scratch pad out with the main dogs through Meyer and Agem. They told us that had we waited 3 years and started now, this same project would be anywhere from $5 to $7 million more. So, why timing isn't everything, it can help. I just don't think things resetting in that aspect. And I can tell you that I've been in there through the back room with the ceiling tiles out, with the pinholes in the copper lines, spraying water on the electrical lines next to the Cat 5 lines. I told, who did the drawings on this? Because I said, this isn't my bailiwick, and I know this,
I
just
think
a
one of
lot of
the best
add-ons.
things You'll find also, like Dave said, this is gonna give you a plan to go forward through 2050. So it's not just now, not just 10 years. This is a long, drawn-out study that's gonna help you guys, which you've done great with doing that, and the council also, so they can see what's gonna be a long time for any of us are here.
Well, and as you mentioned earlier, what is good today could be a catastrophe tomorrow. Oh, and by the way, to the taxpayers who have suggested to me that if the tents are good enough for our military, it's good enough for our prisoners, I agree with that sentiment. I will just tell you that the attorney at the end of the table will be making a whole lot more money when she goes to defend us on that type of mindset, because it's not been held up in the courts.
And I will say this too, when I started in corrections 24, almost 25 years ago, things that we could do then, or our obligations were a lot different than where the law and case law has taken us to today's operations. So, when I started, and before that, it was lock them up, don't do anything, just make sure they're not dead. There's a lot more that goes into this now than that, and the facilities back then was built just for that, lock them up until they're done with their time and let them out. And the rules have changed with the length of stay. So the state has, there used to be caps on what you could stay in a county jail for your sentence, and then you had to go to the Department of Corrections. Well, there's no cap. I've got a guy right now on a 10-year sentence. Our facility's not designed for a person that's serving a 10-year sentence. We can't provide any of the same things that the DOC can. So the laws and all these changes throughout the years have really made it more complex than just locking them up and letting them serve their time. There's a lot more that goes into that. And the facilities just are not designed for that now. But now they are. Back in 90 and 91 and 87, it just isn't there.
And I will leave, before I vote on this, a prior sheriff educated to me when I made the statement, when I was on the council, that crime doesn't pay. And he looked right at me and he said, but it sure cost. And I thought that was a great saying on a facility such as yours.
Now, I do want to just add one more thing, just for the public's knowledge. So we added back in 2010, roughly is when we added on the addition. We was almost maxed out by the time we moved into that, so we was almost 400 inmates. That's a 440-bed total facility over there. By bringing the council and commissioners together and our judges, prosecutor, public defenders, and defense attorneys, and the sheriff and jail, back in 2015, we restructured things and didn't let people out of jail, but we got our system in Morgan County running well because everyone worked together that wasn't working together. So since 2015, you've had a 46% reduction in population with just making our system work better. And the commissioners did do a small investment, I think, of about $150,000 to update attorney rooms and some of that area. But through that, that has kept our jail where we're unique in the state of Indiana because our system is still working well together and our population is still maintaining that. So, other jails have increased by that 46 to 50%. Our facility has not. So, that has been from 2015 till now is a huge savings to the taxpayers just by us working together as a whole. So I just want to add that there has been an indirect, not monetary investment that has really created a monetary savings over the years.
Significant savings. When you start considering how much per day and all the costs you get involved with, yeah, that is huge. And I commend not myself, the folks that did some of that planning and the judges and so forth and your part in getting that, because I was here early when it was running around 300, now it's running around 200. And I never could quite figure out why we were 300 when so was Johnson County, which was twice as big. And I never did buy into the argument that we just were better at capturing them, but we're better, right now we know what we're doing. And I appreciate the effort that's been made. And the diversion programs that started with Judge Gray and I think Judge Dakota is continuing also helps out with the folks that need it. So, thank you.
The jail building is unique because if you go to change the lock in the auditor's office or treasurer's office or something,
No big deal.
no big deal. Tell them how much a locked door is at the jail.
So yeah, one lock at our facility costs almost $4,000. So, and you're still funding on most of your locks from 1991 that we have tried to rebuild to keep going, but so.
And you can't
Yeah.
get those at Lowe's.
Locks are part
A
of
lot more
jails too.
But we appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Well, thank you and appreciate the information. And what you have here in front of us is a agreement proposal for a jail study. And with that, I'll entertain a motion on that particular request.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we go ahead and move forward with DLZ on the jail study, not to exceed $14,500 to study the jail.
Do we have a second? I'll second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
I
Were you looking for something?
was looking for the exceed part.
Back,
Back to the first page.
it's on some 14.5.
And I will add, we already have the
Okay.
funding for this. So.
I'm sorry?
We already have this funded.
You have it funded? Okay.
Council funded.
So that we don't worry about the council on this one right now? Not say worry, we don't.
Yeah, and we've kept.
It's
the
not in their
council
ballgame.
abreast of what's-
Okay.
They've
All
been
right.
part of this process as we
Thank you.
Yeah, Kenny says not to exceed, says a lump sum fee.
Yeah. Do we think the 14.5 will cover the study?
Yeah, because actually it may not even hit the 14.5 to be
Okay.
honest. Because they've just billed us by hour.
Well, yeah, there's the attachment on the hourly thing, but I was thinking when they get into some of the pipes that you referenced.
Well, the good thing is, with us having, and that's why DLZ is kind of important to keep with this project on the front end, because they've been through our addition, so we addressed a lot of things at that time in the old
Okay.
facility, and then they knew the pipe study, they was part of that, so.
Okay.
That'll save some.
Some-
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Karen. Thanks, Commissioners.
Thank you, gentlemen. Did we vote?
No.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0 for the approval of the jail study program with DLZ. Now we're back down to, on target here. The Volt Strategy Agreement. Josh?
Good morning.
Good
gentlemen and
morning.
ladies. So you guys approved at your last meeting, in concept, working with Volt Strategies. The whole point of that agreement, or that proposal, is to make sure that we, Morgan County, advocate at the State House as impending water legislation is likely to hit the legislature. And so that was approved pending the final agreement. Ann has reviewed that. Everything looks to be in order. It includes the new provisions we have to make sure in each contract now. And so if you guys are good with it, we're ready to proceed.
I think it's really interesting to see that, when you look at a professional service agreement, what are you getting out of it? Well, in this case, I think the answer to that question is pretty simple. You're getting, you're gonna help make the rules as much as be a player. And, puts us in a different, I won't say different, but it puts us more active with the things that we face as a county and get more professional help on issues that confront us. And pretty simple stuff, but we've never done it. And I'm glad to see us do it. Do we have any questions from the board on this agreement? Entertain a motion.
Ronnie Kyer makes a motion that we accept the professional service agreement between us and Volt Strategies.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Josh.
I'll take your next two agenda items as well, Don. The next one is for the lease with the Highway Department. I believe some documents did come in, but after Deb and I were both on vacation, so I will get with Ann so that those can be reviewed before our
So
next
we'll
meeting.
table that.
Yeah, that needs tabled.
I'll entertain a motion to table.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
The next one.
Next item is the White River Greenway Trail Master Plan.
Yep. So if you all remember, I believe Justin and Tricia presented at your last meeting. They were on a selection committee with Kenny. They chose HWC for the consultant to look at the White River Trail Master Planning, which is partially funded with ready money. And we were just waiting on the final agreement, which we have. I reviewed it and reviewed it, and that is also good to go if you guys are ready to proceed.
It's with HWC. Any questions from the board on that particular agreement that we discussed? The master trail? I'll entertain a motion.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we move forward with HWC Engineering on our trail master plan for Morgan County.
Can't imagine why Kenny Hale would make a motion on a trail, but
Yes.
thank you, Kenny. All second?
I'll proudly second it.
To say aye?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Kenny, and thank you, Josh.
Quick discussion on this. And Gary brought it up because you're doing something with the White River up north of the city. And they put tons, I read an article on that, they're putting tons and tons of money into the waterway north of the city, White River. when we do this master plan, we'll look at what they're doing to try to tie it all in, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just, I know that sounds silly, but
I mean, we started looking at that and working together years ago. I mean, 2005, we met at Silty, Central Indiana Land Trust Office quarterly. And I mean, we worked with Hamilton County, Marion County, Johns County, and Morgan County for quite some time, and then it kind of fell apart. But I've stayed up on it individually and stuff. So.
because I can envision a trail that goes through the White River and then back down through the forestry, all the way down to the Ohio River.
Yep. Oh, and you're gonna have, I mean, we're gonna have two ways of that as well. You'll
Right.
have the Knobstone and you'll have the Southern Monon. It's what I envision. It's gonna be an extension to what Jeff Wiles doing down south, so. Yeah. And they're actually working, trying to get a New Albany, the Knobstone and the Southern Monon to connect, because it's not connected completely yet.
And just so that the public knows, because I've stated this in small circles, the other day, a couple kayakers had the misfortune of capsizing and then getting stuck in a log jam, which is one of the scariest things you can do if you're on a river. So why the fire department was trying to do a true rescue, I bet 30 or 40 other kayakers went down the river. It is being utilized, and I can only see it being used more and more and more. Being raised in here and been on that river, and the old poopy, as it would be called in slang, it's very clean. I'm in it all the time. Knock on wood, haven't been sick yet. And people are using it. So I just see more and more people taking advantage of Morgan County's beauty and our waterways and that area. So
Yeah, and
I think it's definitely a beautiful thing to have in your county and our county, and we just have to utilize it.
And we are working on that problem, Brian, because the fluvial erosion, this is third fastest in the state. It has caused a pretty dangerous situation. So White River Alliance, been working with them. They're actually putting, the state's not gonna do it, but the state DNR has blessed it. They'll actually be putting signs up on Morgan County Park at Waverly, a couple places directing people the right way to go and not to that new fluvial erosion logjam area. So they ought to be going up anytime. So.
Well, I won't tell you, I had the vision of asking some of the good old boys that I know to come out with and go fishing with me with some sticks of dynamite to blow some of those log jams away, because they are dangerous. But I won't bring that up, Kenny, and make you nervous. I know how they get when you start moving log jams.
Oh, yes, a little bit.
Thank you on your remarks about the, it'd be very difficult for folks today to understand what the river was like, 40 years ago when I was canoeing it and taking boys down there and having them get ill because of the water.
It's
Not
beautiful.
drinking it, they're just breathing the,
It's beautiful.
oh, it absolutely is. I commend, we didn't do that. That was probably federal mandated to start with, but you needed cleaner water, and we're living the benefits of thoughtful legislation.
And
Well,
I'll also remind the public that there's only 3 on YouTube, so if my dynamite comment gets out, it's probably somebody sitting right out here.
I'll tell you the story later about dynamite. I have a rather funny story on that, but I won't go through it right now. We have a HWC engineering agreement to look at here and approve.
We just did that. Yep,
Wait a minute here.
and we've already done
We
the share.
did the vote 3-0 on it. We're good. We did it, right? Move on. All right. Next item on our agenda is the additional road name list. Oh, she loves road names.
I'm just asking for the Misty Meadow Way to be,
And so the folks, those 4 folks, yeah, there you go.
I am just asking for Misty Meadow Way to be added to the road list.
Mayor makes that motion.
Second.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Misty Meadow Way. It's a lot of letters,
Yes.
big sign. Thank you. We also have a 911 addressing issue, concern here. Is that on this, is that going to be here on that? Is that going to be, we don't have that? Table, okay. Entertain a motion to table the motion on the addressing 911.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we table the 911 addressing issue on our ordinance.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Yeah, you did.
Didn't you hear it?
I'll second. And then I'll vote aye.
Aye.
All right. Thanks, Linda. Keep us honest. Doree,
Yes.
hello,
Hello.
ma'am.
Good morning.
I have a Steel Benefits agreement. We have, Steel Benefits handles our open enrollment and keeps our insurance organized and does self-billing for us, several things. They have a platform which they collect all that data and keep that in check. We are switching platforms, which is the reason that we are doing this agreement. So we're going from a Aflac platform to a Steel Benefits platform. This was approved by the insurance board a couple weeks ago.
Correct, I was there, so we're good. Do we have any questions about this agreement? I'll entertain a motion.
Brian Kyer makes a motion that we accept the client service agreement between Morgan County and Steel.
Second.
Yeah, motion and a second. Got her second, Linda. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, 3-0. Thank you. Thank you, Doree. That concludes our new business, I believe. Now we have some old business or some tabled business. One of the first items is a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding with the Health Department and Records Associate. Yes. Good morning.
So this is just a formality to, apparently it was on the last agenda, to change up or to finish a contract with IRA so we can digitize our septic files, going back to into the 60s. And evidently we needed to do an MOU with health department language on it. And that's all this is.
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused here, not confused, I just don't remember why we didn't handle this earlier.
I believe it had something to do with the attorney needing different language under an MOU.
Oh, we got the language, okay.
Yeah, the language.
So we got the language squared away, Ann?
Yes,
I think you told me that earlier.
that's okay.
So we got straightened up on the language on this memorandum of health from the Health Department, memorandum of understanding. Do you gentlemen have any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we approve the MOU between Morgan County and the Morgan County Health Department.
A second.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. We also have an old business that was tabled, the clerk fee schedule, and I think that hasn't been quite lined out yet. I'll entertain a motion to table that.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded to continue the table on the ordinance 2410. Clerk fee is schedule. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Finally, we have a Apex Zyway Learning Management System.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I remember now.
This is one that was brought to you a couple of weeks ago, and the attorney requested a specific language, and it has been added. This was also approved by the insurance board a couple of weeks ago.
Okay,
So this is a learning management system where we can track several of those videos and trainings that are required for different departments.
good. Yep. We've got that squared away. Do we have a motion on that learning management system proposal? We went through it.
Come on, guys.
I'm sorry?
Brian Collier makes the motion that we accept the Apex Z-Way Learning Management System.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
If you could see how red your face
Oh, I
is
bet.
right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doreen.
If we don't have fun up here, then it does, the phone calls where people threaten you and hate you and won't do business with you and won't talk to you, and then it's not worth it. So sometimes when I am goofy, it's to counter some of the other stuff that you aren't privy to when the people who are irate give you a call. So I'm gonna have fun, or I'm not gonna do this.
That concludes our old business and new business, and at the end of our meetings, we usually do two things. We have for the good of the county, and we also have anybody that wants to speak. And there's all kinds of rules outside, but she's already made a rule for herself. Terry is set a minute, so you're on the clock. No, go ahead, Terry. Yeah, you're on. Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Okay, so, yeah, I'll get that.
Hello, Terry White, Harrison Township. I have a request. Please make time to make the appointment for the Harrison Township Morgan County Regional Sewer District Board member and the other appointment as well, which is Madison Township. Thank you. Please make time to make that appointment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. To respond, we hear your request.
Need a motion?
You want to take a motion to make them, all right, go ahead.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we go ahead and appoint Rod Perkins to the Morgan County Regional Sewer Board.
Don't know, Rod. You want a second, or do we need to discuss it? We've got a motion and no second. Let's go ahead and we'll discuss that and come back with a motion. Okay? So, Kenny, I'm sorry, not sorry.
It's all right.
We'll get a motion after we get a little more knowledge about that person.
We're good.
The other thing that I did omit was also some appointments to the, I think we're calling it the, what is it, the name, the Art Advisory group that's going to be looking at basically what we're going to be doing with the judicial campus on two big projects. One will be a 21 by 8 foot tall, I think it's 8, mural that'll be at the end of our Morgan Hall. I have 2 appointments. The third, I actually have 3, but we need to get a couple more, and I think we have, from the council, we get 1 or 2, and they get 2, and I don't know, I'm going to discuss that with Kim and see if they have made those appointments. And then we've appointed 2, and we need 2 more. And I've got 1 of the 2, and Kenny's going to get the other, so we're going to continue. You got a hand up, or you just waving? Okay. So we're going to, that project's going to be, that committee is going to need to get to work fairly soon, because about a year from now, we're going to be looking at an opening, and we want to have something to look at in the opening. So they're going to be having a little bit of a busy time getting started, even though it's a year ahead. We don't even have Morgan Hall completely built by any means, but we want to get that process going on. So, any other business for the commissioners? Yes, sir.
I just want to let you guys know, we had a really successful event Saturday at Mooresville High School. Toxaway Day, we had almost 700 cars come through. So even though we've kind of taken a break on some of our other services, that one is definitely appreciated. So, had a great group of volunteers. It rained on us a couple times, but we got through it, and another great event up there. So we appreciate the people in Mooresville for sure.
I'll pass the word on to my folks. All I have to do is hit Facebook, and they'll all be.
Yep.
I didn't see any pictures. Well, I've been off Facebook for a while. I've been trying to get some makeup.
We ran start to finish with no break in the line. When we cut off the line at the very end of it, they were still almost all the way to Carlisle Street.
I really appreciate that. That's organized and, very well done. That you got the dance done like you need to get it done.
Yeah.
Appreciate
really
it.
smooth. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And seeing you there reminds me of one other thing. Yes, David. You gotta be talking about an invasive. I know it's gotta be an invasive.
I just wondered if you had noticed NDOT had sprayed the noxious weeds along the highways this year.
Oh.
They didn't by any means get all of them, but they did do quite a bit. Poison hemlock, you'll see drooped over. They did spray some Canada thistle, but I just wanted to know if you'd noticed that or not.
I have, in fact. In fact, I appreciate anything we can, those two weeds are very noxious, and they come back every year, and they're invading my hay fields, which is a very serious problem.
It is.
And thank you for, if I know who's responsible in NDOT for doing it, I'll say thank you, thank you, thank you.
They had told me in the past that we needed to tell them to do it, and that they would pay us to do it, but they actually did it themselves this year. So hopefully they'll continue that.
Yeah, I never saw it. They're a beautiful plant, but my gosh, they're terrible.
It is.
Yeah. Thank you, David. Yes, sir. Well, that was my next thing. So thank you. Actually, at 2:00 this afternoon, we'll be closing with that property, and we can proceed to. It'll be ours. So we'll start putting together the program to put our recycling program up there, and plus it's large enough to handle a couple other items that we're going to be putting there and use this property. It's up by the old Centerbrook. I went by it this morning, and they've pretty well moved everything out, and I'll be there at 2:00 this afternoon. We're glad to get that program going, because I've had some, I was looking through my own trash this morning, and there was a couple, 3 or 4 aluminum cans, and I thought, whoa, we got to do something here real quick. So, yeah, people want it, and we're going to provide it. But thank you for your question. I guess that's for the good of the county, as far as I'm concerned, as we're going in that direction. But the other good of the county is Fair Week starts in a couple days, next Saturday, the 5th. We're going to be Friday. We're going to be kicking it off, and it's always an exciting thing. If you haven't seen the correspondence flyer on 75 years that we're celebrating, a lot of work done by Patty Dowell and a lot of other folks to bring a lot of history. They didn't have me and Pinky the Pig. I was really disappointed, but you can't cover everything. So, But I will tell you, Pinky was a neat pig. I slept beside her. I hated to see her get on the truck. That's what every 4-H kid goes through. Oh, that does remind me, Thursday night, for the good of the county, there's going to be an honors program for 4-H at the Merchants Building. I think it's at 6:30, and Representative Baird, United States Representative Baird, Jim Baird, is going to be a speaker for those kids that are going to honor from the 4-H program, one of the finer programs. Sheriff, I think it's Thursday night, is what I got a note from, but it might be Wednesday night. I'll check, but well, the letter I got from Rena said Thursday, so I wrote it down, but I'll double check that. So you think it's Wednesday night? Okay, don't go any night, go both nights, and have some fun.
6:30 Wednesday night, I put it on my calendar when Jim said.
Thank you. That Wednesday night,
6:30.
I had 6:30, but I had it on Thursday from that letter. But, or maybe I read it wrong. It could be don't blame Marina, it could be blame Don. Wednesday night. 4-H speaker. Okay. Thank you. Any other good of the county?
Just a point of clarification on the appointments on the Art Council and the appointments on the Sewer Board. We're going to do that at a later time? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to try to see if they can get those done at the next meeting. If we can get that together, because I think we need to get it done. Any other questions or any other for the good of the county from our fine audience out here? Nothing from Clay Township? That means you got rid of Bill, right? Well, glad to see everybody here. It's always good to see people supporting the county and informing us and involved. It's just, I couldn't ask for a better thing to do the first of every month and the third Monday of every month. It's just fun to be with you. So you all have a good week. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Have a good day and enjoy this beautiful day.